Los Angeles, the sprawling metropolis of dreams and dilemmas, faces a constant barrage of challenges, from a gnawing specter of homelessness and the suffocating grip of traffic congestion to persistent threats of wildfires and the ever-present anxieties surrounding crime rates. At the helm of the Golden State, the governor of California shoulders the weighty responsibility of navigating these complex issues, and naturally, the question arises, is this leadership truly steering the City of Angels toward a brighter future? This comprehensive YouTube video delves deep into the multifaceted landscape of Los Angeles under the current gubernatorial administration, meticulously examining the policies, initiatives, and statistical data to provide a nuanced and insightful answer to this critical inquiry. We'll dissect the governor's approach to tackling the homelessness crisis, analyze the effectiveness of transportation and infrastructure projects, scrutinize environmental policies aimed at protecting the region, and evaluate the impact of criminal justice reforms on public safety. Prepare for an engaging exploration that moves beyond headlines and political rhetoric to offer a data-driven perspective on whether the governor of California is indeed saving Los Angeles. The looming shadow of homelessness. A state of emergency? The crisis of homelessness in Los Angeles County has reached alarming proportions, casting a long shadow over the city's image and straining its social fabric. Recent estimates from the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, LAHSA, reveal a staggering figure of over 195,000 individuals experiencing homelessness across the county, a number that has seen a troubling upward trend in recent years. This complex issue is fueled by a confluence of factors, including the exorbitant cost of housing, stagnant wages, mental health challenges, and the opioid epidemic. The governor of California has declared a state of emergency on homelessness statewide and has allocated significant resources towards addressing this crisis in Los Angeles. Key initiatives include the Home Key program, which aims to rapidly create housing units by acquiring and converting existing buildings, and increase funding for supportive services such as mental health care and substance abuse treatment. Statistical data from the governor's office highlights that Home Key has created thousands of interim and permanent housing units across California, with a significant portion allocated to Los Angeles. Furthermore, the state budget has earmarked billions for local governments to implement their own strategies to combat homelessness. However, despite these efforts and the substantial financial investment, the visible impact on the streets of Los Angeles remains a subject of intense debate. Critics point to the persistent presence of encampments, the slow pace of housing development, and the challenges in effectively connecting individuals with the necessary services. They argue that while state funding is crucial, the scale of the crisis demands more radical and innovative solutions, coupled with greater accountability and coordination at the local level. Examining the data on the reduction of unsheltered homelessness and the success rates of rehousing programs will be crucial in evaluating the governor's effectiveness in this critical area. We will explore the metrics used to track progress and analyze the underlying reasons for both successes and shortcomings in tackling this deeply entrenched societal problem. Navigating gridlock. Transportation and infrastructure in focus. Los Angeles is notorious for its sprawling urban landscape and the resulting challenges in transportation. Traffic congestion remains a daily frustration for commuters, impacting productivity, air quality, and overall quality of life. The governor's administration has emphasized investments in public transportation and infrastructure projects aimed at alleviating these pressures. Key initiatives include continued funding for the expansion of the Los Angeles metro system, including new light rail and subway lines, as well as investments in upgrading existing roadways and bridges. The state has also championed projects aimed at promoting sustainable transportation alternatives, such as electric vehicle infrastructure and bicycle-friendly corridors. Statistical data from the California Department of Transportation, Caltrans, indicates significant state funding allocated to transportation projects in the Los Angeles region. For instance, the Fix Our Roads initiative, funded through increased gas taxes and vehicle registration fees, has directed billions towards repairing and improving local streets and highways. Furthermore, ridership numbers on certain metro lines have shown increases, suggesting a growing adoption of public transportation in some areas. However, the sheer scale of Los Angeles' transportation challenges means that progress can often feel incremental. Critics argue that the pace of infrastructure development needs to accelerate significantly to keep pace with population growth and the increasing demands on the transportation network. They also point to the need for better integration between different modes of transportation and more effective strategies for managing traffic flow. Analyzing data on commute times, air quality improvements or lack thereof, and the progress of major infrastructure projects will provide valuable insights into the governor's impact on transportation in Los Angeles. We will also consider the long-term vision for transportation in the region and the extent to which current policies are laying the groundwork for a more sustainable and efficient system, safeguarding the environment, addressing climate change and local threats. California has long been at the forefront of environmental policy, and Los Angeles, as a major urban center in the state, is directly impacted by both statewide initiatives and local environmental challenges. The governor has championed ambitious goals for reducing greenhouse gas emissions, promoting renewable energy, and conserving natural resources. These statewide policies have direct implications for Los Angeles, influencing everything from building codes and energy efficiency standards to the transition towards electric vehicles. Furthermore, Los Angeles faces specific environmental threats, including air pollution, water scarcity, and the increasing risk of wildfires in surrounding areas. The governor's administration has supported initiatives aimed at improving air quality, such as investments in electric vehicle infrastructure and regulations on industrial emissions. The state has also played a crucial role in addressing water scarcity through conservation measures and investments in water infrastructure. Additionally, in response to the growing threat of wildfires, the state has allocated significant funding for fire prevention and suppression efforts in high-risk areas surrounding Los Angeles. Statistical data from the California Air Resources Board, CRB, indicates progress in reducing certain air pollutants in the South Coast Air Basin, which includes Los Angeles. Similarly, data on water consumption suggests some success in promoting conservation. However, the challenges remain significant. The impacts of climate change, such as extreme heat and prolonged droughts, continue to pose serious threats. Critics argue that the pace of transitioning to renewable energy needs to accelerate further, and that more stringent regulations are needed to address pollution from various sources. Furthermore, the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires demand a comprehensive and sustained approach to prevention and land management. Examining data on greenhouse gas emissions in the Los Angeles region, air and water quality metrics, and the effectiveness of wildfire prevention strategies will be crucial in assessing the governor's environmental impact on the city. We will also consider the balance between environmental protection and economic development in the region, the pursuit of justice, criminal justice reform, and public safety. Criminal justice reform has been a significant focus in California in recent years, with the goal of reducing incarceration rates, addressing systemic inequities, and improving public safety. The governor has signed into law several criminal justice reform measures impacting areas such as sentencing guidelines, parole policies, and law enforcement practices. These reforms have direct implications for crime rates and public safety in Los Angeles. Statistical data from the California Department of Justice, DOJ, provides insights into crime trends in Los Angeles County. Examining data on violent crime, property crime, and arrest rates before and after the implementation of key reform measures is essential for evaluating their impact. Proponents of reform argue that these changes are necessary to address historical injustices and reduce the disproportionate impact of the criminal justice system on marginalized communities. They point to data suggesting a decrease in overall incarceration rates in California. However, concerns have also been raised regarding the potential impact of these reforms on public safety. Critics argue that some reforms may have unintended consequences, potentially contributing to an increase in certain types of crime. Analyzing data on recidivism rates and the effectiveness of rehabilitation programs is crucial for a comprehensive assessment. Furthermore, the relationship between law enforcement agencies and the communities they serve in Los Angeles is a critical factor in public safety. Examining data on police use of force, community engagement initiatives, and efforts to build trust will provide a more nuanced understanding of the challenges and opportunities in this area. Evaluating the governor's role in fostering a fair and effective criminal justice system while ensuring public safety in Los Angeles requires a careful analysis of the available data and consideration of diverse perspectives. Economic landscape, growth inequality, and the cost of living. Los Angeles boasts a dynamic and diverse economy, driven by industries such as entertainment, technology, tourism, and international trade. The governor's economic policies aim to foster job growth, support businesses, and address issues of income inequality and the high cost of living. Statewide initiatives focus on workforce development, small business support, and attracting investment have implications for the Los Angeles economy. Statistical data from the California Employment Development Department, EDD, provides insights into employment trends, unemployment rates, and job creation in the Los Angeles metropolitan area. Examining data on key economic indicators, such as GDP growth and business formation, can help assess the overall health of the local economy under the current administration. However, Los Angeles also faces significant economic challenges, including a widening gap between the wealthy and the poor and an exceptionally high cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing. The governor has supported efforts to increase the minimum wage and expand access to affordable health care, which can have a direct impact on low-income residents in Los Angeles. However, addressing the root causes of income inequality and the housing affordability crisis requires a multifaceted approach involving state, local, and federal policies. Analyzing data on income inequality metrics, housing affordability indices, and the impact of specific economic policies on different segments of the Los Angeles population will be crucial in evaluating the governor's effectiveness in this domain. We will also consider the long-term sustainability of the Los Angeles economy and the extent to which current policies are promoting inclusive growth and opportunity for all residents. The wildfire front, a fiery challenge. California's wildfire crisis has become an annual summer nightmare, and Los Angeles is often on the front lines. The governor's office has highlighted a significant increase in resources to combat these blazes. According to data from the governor's office, the number of CAL FIRE personnel has nearly doubled since 2019, growing from 5,829 to 10,741. Similarly, the CAL FIRE budget has also seen a substantial increase, nearly doubling from $2 billion to $3.8 billion in the same period. This massive investment includes an expanded aerial fleet, with the state now owning the largest fleet of its kind globally, and new technology like drones and AI-powered tools for faster fire detection. Beyond response, the state is also focusing on prevention. The budget for forest management has grown tenfold, from an annual $200 million in 2018 to $2 billion in new investment. These funds are used for fuel reduction and prescribed burns, with the state treating over 700,000 acres of land for wildfire resilience in 2023. Prescribed fire activity has also more than doubled between 2021 and 2023. These proactive measures, coupled with the pre-deployment of resources ahead of critical fire weather, are critical in minimizing the impact of wildfires on Los Angeles. Conclusion: a verdict on the Golden State's leadership in the City of Angels? Drawing together the threads of our analysis across the critical areas of homelessness, transportation, environment, criminal justice, and the economy, can we definitively answer the question: is the governor of California saving Los Angeles? The data reveals a complex picture of both progress and persistent challenges. Significant state resources have been directed towards addressing key issues, and in some areas, such as air quality and renewable energy adoption, measurable improvements can be observed. However, the sheer scale and complexity of the problems facing Los Angeles, particularly homelessness and transportation, mean that tangible results can be slow and uneven. Critics argue that while state support is essential, more innovative and locally tailored solutions, coupled with greater accountability and faster implementation, are needed to truly turn the tide on some of the city's most pressing issues. Ultimately, assessing the governor's impact requires a long-term perspective and a nuanced understanding of the interplay between state policies and local conditions. While definitive pronouncements may be premature, our exploration provides a data-driven foundation for evaluating the effectiveness of the current leadership in navigating the multifaceted challenges and shaping the future of the iconic City of Angels.